What's up, everybody? So the last couple videos have not been Walnut Springs videos, and I know that a lot of you guys really like to see the trail building stuff, and I promise you there's more stuff coming. One thing that I do want to do with my trail system is make some videos where I'm improving some of the features that I made and modifying some of the features I've made. And then I would love to have some of my buddies come out that have been out here before that either did or didn't try to ride them, and then have them try them with the modifications done to them to see if they're more rideable to them or more rideable just in general. So stay tuned. I've got plenty of those videos in the pipeline that I'm working on, and hopefully you guys will enjoy this one and stick around. And if you guys do like these videos, don't forget to subscribe. Really helps out the channel. I can't stress that enough. And if you guys like the video, it actually pushes me up in the algorithm. That way my video gets suggested more and more every time a new one comes out. So I really appreciate everybody who is watching these videos, who's subscribed. And I would love to hear your comments on what you're enjoying, what videos you actually really like the most. And if you can, check out my Instagram. I'm really trying to get that a little bit bigger. Right now I think I'm around 205 followers. I'd love to get that somewhere closer to the 1,000 range, where it's closer to what my YouTube channel is right now. Let's get these traction pads put on and see how this process actually works. As you guys saw from the last video, I installed the Crankbrothers Egg Beater 3s, and you probably noticed that I put the traction pads on, and it's not as easy as you would think, but it's not all that hard either. So in this video, I wanted to show you guys exactly the process that it takes to install these traction pads, and it'll also help you if you ever need to do a rebuild. It's a real easy process, but it's not as simple as just pushing these things on, because this side is where you have to get a little bit more in depth. All right, let's get into it and show you guys how this works. So the first thing you're gonna wanna do is get this outside one done. It's real simple. You have to take this little ring off, and I'll show you why here in just a second. But just use a pick or a really small screwdriver. This is the one thing that really annoyed me about these. These are plastic instead of rubber, so whenever you take them off, they will break. That's terrible design by Crankbrothers. I'm actually kind of annoyed by that, because if I didn't want the shims, I would have to order these little plastic pieces, where on these they feel like they're rubber, and these are the 2s. So I think they kind of cheaped out on this. I could be wrong. Crankbrothers, if you watch this, let me know, because this plastic seems to break, and I can't find an easy way to get this off without them breaking. So if you don't think you need the shims, don't even try to put them on, because you will break those little rings. Now inside here, this is going to be pretty hard to tell. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but there is a little lip that bumps up, and that lip that bumps up is what goes in here. So you just take this piece. It is a very tight fit, so you kind of have to work it on there with that little part down. Let's see if I can get it. There we go. Now the easiest thing I found is to kind of put it on a flat table, kind of work it around, and then it'll eventually pop into place. As you can see, it fits in there nicely. This does protect your pedal a little bit, but being that this is just like a rubbery plastic, I'm afraid this is going to get all gnarred up. But you can buy kits on Crankbrothers websites on their website that actually gives you different thicknesses of these. So if these aren't thick enough, they do make thicker ones for your shoe. But now the challenge is to get this one onto here. Problem is, this spindle is too big to get past, so you have to take the pedal apart. It's pretty simple. You're just going to use, I think this is a 6mm Allen key. You'll just turn that. It turns real easy. They put Loctite on this, so it shouldn't come out on the trail, but it pops off pretty easily. Next thing you're going to need is a 10mm socket. I didn't have one by hand, so I just used a 5/16 that fits about the same. You just put it on there because there's a little locking nut that's in there. Put that one on that end. Don't clamp this in a vise, just use your 8mm Allen key on the other side, and then make sure that you're on the loose setting, and there we go. That breaks it loose. It breaks loose really, really easily. So you just spin this until that washer or that locking nut comes off, and that nut's actually in there, so I'll just leave it in there. Then this little guy separates real easily from the pedal. So if you're doing a rebuild kit, this is the exact same thing, how to do the rebuild. You can kind of see the factory grease that they put on there. Leave that balance so no dirt gets in there. And then be careful because this is where the bearing is. You can see it in there. That bearing does pop out, so you want to make sure that you keep that bearing in there. So while you're doing this one is definitely a lot more challenging. Imagine you could probably put some oil on it or whatnot to get that out of there a little bit easier. But I'm going to pull this ring off, and this one typically breaks too, no matter how careful you are. Yep, see, there it goes. And I just wish these were rubber. If they were rubber, they wouldn't snap like that. It's unfortunate, but that's okay. I can use these spacers. I'm just gonna set that bearing right there so it keeps falling out. As you can see, the pedal's pretty simple on the inside. There's not really much to it, but getting this one on is a little bit more of a challenge. Remember, find that groove, because that groove goes down into here. And what I did is I just simply took this and pushed it on like that. Now the challenge is to get this thing on there. And I just have to basically keep working it. I don't want to use pliers because I don't want to mar it up. I know it's going to get all gunked up whenever I pedal and hit things with it, but they're brand new. I don't want to mess them up too soon. It's a workout. Almost got it. There we go. All right, so now you see if they fit on there really nicely. I mean, these things aren't coming off, that's for sure. So now we just need to reassemble it. So make sure you get your bearing. You put your bearing in the back of the top of your pedal. Now I don't think the twos have the same bearing. The rebuild kit comes with this bearing. I'm not really sure. But this particular bearing is the Enduro brand, I believe is what it is. It's a nicer bearing than the twos and the ones come with. Then take your spindle and then just basically put it like that. And you want to just make sure that you don't get any dirt or dust on these whenever you're assembling this. And then take that 10mm nut and just kind of start to tighten it on there. And it'll get to where you need to actually use the wrench. So then just remember, whenever we tighten these, they weren't super tight. So just a little bit of a snugness, and that should be good enough. Now we're ready for the top cap. The Loctite on there I think will be good. I hope it's good. I don't know if Loctite's reusable, but that Loctite looks pretty good, so I'm gonna go with it. This, you just basically hold on to the pedal and put it back in, and again, just snug. You don't want to over tighten it. And there you go. That's how you put on the spacers for your shoes so your shoes don't wobble as much. Now I might need to get thicker spacers because my feet still wobble a little bit, but you know, I think these will be good. These will protect the pedals. They'll look brand new whenever these things come off. And yeah, now let's get this put back on the bike. All right guys, thanks for watching the video. I really appreciate all of you guys that have viewed this. And if you subscribe, double thumbs up. That's awesome. It is, my channel is growing much faster than I anticipated. And this wouldn't happen without you guys watching these videos and subscribing and liking and sharing them. So again, thank you so much. And as always, get out there, run, bike, build, and just have fun. We'll see you in the next one.